Hey guys, here for another installment of Casket Conversations, and once again we are joined here with my good friend Steven Gozinski.
I have returned,
So,
and everyone should be terrified.
yes, be very scared. Yes. So we've got a bunch of really good topics for you today. As you can see, we're going to be talking about the Green Lantern Corps news, which broke a few days ago. We're going to be talking about Batman v Superman and some of the controversy over the home release editions. We're going to be talking about the new Punisher series and Doctor Strange. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? First bit of news, news hit that they are planning on doing Green Lantern with an older version of Hal Jordan, training some somewhat younger versions of Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner. That's basically the gist of it. And so, Steven and I kind of thought it would be cool to just throw our personal choices for these characters out there in the wide open space. So, how about you go first?
Okay. My personal choices for the elder Hal Jordan. A lot of people have been pushing for Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan for quite some time. There are a lot of good reasons for it. One, he looks like Hal Jordan from the comics. Also, he's been voicing the character for a number of years, since Green Lantern Emerald Knights to Justice League Doom, and then he was in Throne of Atlantis. One of the few voice actors in the DC animated universe to do actually one from the pre-52 universe to the new 52 universe, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so he has the experience under his belt. He hasn't really done anything DC in the main universe yet. He has cameoed in Marvel, and he is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in a supporting role. And also, Castle is kind of, but he is working on the television show Castle right now, so that's kind of
right.
A little iffy on that. So there is that. One of my other personal choices, this is one's a little outside the box for some people, is David Boreanaz. Some people may not know David Boreanaz has actually voiced the Hal Jordan character before. He's in a right age range.
Yeah.
He has voiced the character in the Justice League New Frontier animated film, based on the comic storyline of the same name. He also has his series Bones is actually on its final season after 12 years on the air.
No, that's crazy.
They're wrapping that up, so he'll be available to do that kind of role, and he would be available for multiple picture contracts that DC would possibly sign him up for. I don't know if it would be as binding as, say, the Marvel contracts.
Yeah.
But I think he could have the potential to do a good job. It would be kind of fun to see him in a mentor role, but he still can still play the badass action hero, obviously, even after all this time of doing it since I think, since he started with Joss Whedon. If people can't tell, I'm a Joss Whedon fan, so I'll be picking one of Joss Whedon alumni.
Yeah. Definitely.
So those are my personal choices for Hal Jordan. Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner's a little tough. I would go with an unknown, because there are some people who are huge Kyle Rayner fans. They've actually used part of Kyle Rayner's storyline in the not-so-successful Green Lantern film starring Ryan Reynolds. Actually used part of his storyline to try to make Hal Jordan a bit more relatable to the audience, which I think was a personal mistake.
Yeah.
But then again, my opinion, there are plenty of good actors out there. Adam Driver, actually, of Star Wars fame, actually has kind of the look of Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, for sure.
The actor who played Poe Dameron also, I cannot recall his name right now, also has
Oscar
the
Isaac.
look. Thank you, Oscar. Yes, he has kind of the look as well, and he has the roguish type feel for it, and I think he could do a really nice job with that character. Both are around the right age range, and could do a really nice job with the character.
Right.
Kyle Rayner's not very well known because he's one of the newer characters. He's been in 2 major animated productions. He may be in the Green Lantern animated series. I don't know because I haven't watched it. I know I'm a horrible DC animated universe guy as far as that goes. But he has been in the Superman animated series from the 90s. I don't recall who he played, who played it, voiced him. I didn't see the episode. Yeah. And then he was in Justice League Game Unlimited, voiced by Will Friedle. Really cool character. Potentially could be awesome. And of course, Jon Stewart, a lot of people know because of the Justice League animated series.
That's why I learned.
Justice League Unlimited. That's where I know him from.
Yeah.
And I read a little bit on his background. I'm kind of excited about that. And also, he was in Young Justice and has some cool stuff in there. My personal choice is for him is Shamar Moore, of Criminal Minds fame, because he is actually leading the show this season. Sad face.
Yeah.
Which is sad for me, but also, again, would free him to do multiple picture contracts at DC or to recruit him for said role. Maybe that's his why he left. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That would be awesome if that were the reason.
Yeah.
If he were a little bit younger, Ving Rhames would be another great choice, but actually I kind of want him to voice the character or do motion capture for the character of Kilowog, because he's like Michael Clark Duncan light.
Yes.
Since we can't have Michael Clark Duncan anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crying face for that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So those cover my 3 for the big 3. I'm hoping we'll get to see more of the alien Green Lanterns in there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Maybe DC Universe will be smart and bring Mark Strong back to be Sinestro.
I really hope they do,
possibly,
because...
Or not. If they don't,
well,
just get someone with his charisma and panache.
Well, you know,
just steal from the animated universe. Get Victor Garber to voice him.
Yeah.
Get Victor Garber to do it, because he did it in First Light.
Yeah. Well,
so.
You know, I think Mark Strong was probably my favorite thing about the bad Green Lantern movie. You know, I mean, he was just really good, and that's really where, you know, it's funny because before that one came out, everyone was excited about him playing Sinestro, but I didn't even know who Mark Strong was until that movie, and that's really the movie that I learned about him. And
really?
Yeah.
I knew him from Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that was him.
I started looking into his work, and I saw him in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And he's fabulous.
Right. Yeah. So I guess
he gets a sequel movie coming out this year, but within the next couple of years, the sequel to Kingsman. Hopefully he's going to be in it. I know he was in the first one.
I hope so. Yeah. As far as I know, he's gonna be in it, so that's good. So I guess some of my choices would be, I gotta echo your Nathan Fillion part. You know, I feel like Fillion doesn't get enough credit for how good of an actor he is. You know, even though I myself don't watch Castle all that very often. I only watch Castle when I'm like stuck in the hospital or stuck someplace where they don't have a lot of TV channels and they're just replaying Castle. That's pretty much how I watch Castle. So, but I'm interested in it. Even though story-wise I might be a little bit lost, he makes it so much fun to watch. It's like one of those things where I don't care, because he's just so good at playing that character and all that stuff. And even, you know, his other work, he's just brilliant. So I gotta echo that. But honestly, you know, I have 3 other names on my list for Hal Jordan choices, but I'm only gonna talk about 2 of them, because the more I think about it, I don't know what I think about this other person. It was kind of just like, ooh, how about this guy? So the next person for me, I'm gonna talk about, because I have less things to say, and that's Richard Armitage, who actually played the voice of Thorin Oakenshield in The Hobbit, and he did such a great job of being that leader and kind of like that dark side. And I don't know what kind of way they're going to play Hal in this movie, because they didn't release that much. They said that it's going to be an older Hal Jordan who's going to be training Kyle and John. So I don't know what that could mean a lot of different things. That doesn't tell us anything story wise. So if they're trying to give him kind of a more edgier undertone, kind of like how they did with Bruce and a little bit with Superman, then somebody like that might be fun to have in that role to be able to kind of play the game as well. But I'd kind of prefer them stick to Fillion than him, but he's another choice. But honestly, my second choice other than Fillion would have to be John Hamm. And if you remember, several years back for April Fool's Day, an article went out, a faux article went out that John Hamm was going to be taking over Iron Man. And when that released, I was just like, oh, that's perfect. He'd be a perfect Tony Stark. Like, if RDJ was ever going to leave the role, that is the guy who I want to take over. And I gotta tell you, it's not Iron Man, but it's Green Lantern. And he's around the right age. And now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with everyone listening and you, Steven. I haven't seen John Hamm do all that much action. So as far as action goes, and depending on what his role in the movie is, that's going to be a big IDK. I don't know. But I know the dude can act. And I know he can be sarcastic, and I know he can be funny. And if they can make him work in the DC cinematic universe, that would be incredible. I would love to see John Hamm's interpretation. I think he's probably, again, he's my number 2 under Nathan Fillion. I don't want anybody else there except the two of them. Richard Armitage would be several blocks under them.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one as far as Richard there.
Yeah, so Kyle Rayner. Now, I know zero about Kyle Rayner. The only research I did in going into this is, just like, I want to know what he looks like, because I don't want to cast somebody that doesn't look anything like him. So I that's basically the only thing I did for this. The first person that came to mind was Logan Lerman. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't big Logan Lerman fans, and I understand. I get it. But Logan has really proved himself to me. He was absolutely fantastic in Fury. He does a really good job in Percy Jackson, which I feel like, even though it's not really a quote-unquote superhero movie, there's a lot of special effects in those movies, and I think it shows that he does really good with working with that kind of environment. And so if he does that well on I don't want to call it a B movie, because it's not quite a B movie, but if he could do as good with what he did on Percy Jackson, then I think he would be excellent in the DC universe with all the crap that they have there. So I think he'd be great. He's a young, really good actor. He can do action, but he can give the emotion behind the character depending on what they want to do with him. The other person is, I haven't actually seen him act myself, but I'm gonna echo some sentiments of some YouTubers that I watch and their take on this subject. And you know what? I want Alden Ehrenreich, or however you say his fucking name, to be Kyle Rayner. He's one of the top 3 contenders to play Han Solo in the Han Solo spinoff. He looks extremely a lot like Harrison Ford, so he would be perfect for that, and I really hope he gets the job. But everybody was coming out of, everybody didn't really like Hail Caesar when it came out, the new Coen Brothers movie, but everybody was talking about him as that cowboy character. And it's one of those things that makes me go, cowboy character, I've got to see that. What the hell is everybody talking about? But so yeah, he's there. Some other names I put down, I'm not really gonna go over, but just to throw them out there, I had Britton Thwaites there, who was in Pirates of the Caribbean, um, 4, and I think he's gonna be in the new one. He was in The Giver, which I loved him in The Giver. He was fantastic in that. And Dylan Sprouse, I mean, I don't think Dylan really has any um, desire to be an actor anymore. I think he's kind of trying to get away from that for the most part. So I don't know if he would want to do like a big budget movie like this, but I think he could do it. Give him the makeup and the, he could definitely work out and get in shape. So yeah, he's that. And then for Jon Stewart, now Jon Stewart is my Green Lantern because I learned about Green Lantern from the Justice League. I never really was a big comic book reader growing up, but I absolutely adored the Justice League animated series. I have two people down for this. And here's here's what I'm gonna say. For me personally, I would kind of like to be surprised. So I want them to go with an unknown for Jon Stewart. I know that there's enough unknowns out there that could do this part really, really well. But if they wanted to get the celebrity shindig in there, if they wanted to get somebody that people know, these are the people that I want to play the role. Second choice, Tyrese Gibson. He is hysterical in the Fast and Furious movies. And, if he can...
There have been rumors that DC is actually looking at Tyrese Gibson to play that character.
I think he could do it. If he can get himself a little bit more bulkier, because he's definitely already an athletic man, but if he can get a little bit more buff, he would be perfect. And I know a lot of that they can fix with padding and the costuming itself. They can make him look bigger than he actually is. But man, if he could get it himself, like I think he'd be great because he's definitely got the acting chops to do it. And here's the thing too, because I'm not looking at him just because I like him, but I am in a way because, this is not me putting down any actor or actress that was in the Fast franchise. But I'm just gonna call it like it is. There's not a whole lot of really good actors in those movies. I mean, there's some actors that I like, but they're not really like A-list contenders in my opinion. So, man, if there are so many good actors in this movie, I feel like if he got this role, it would challenge him as an actor and to become better. And him acting against whoever they get as the other Lantern people, and then once they do the Justice League movie. If his character will be in that, because we don't know what they're going to do with all of this. So if he's going to be in the Justice League movie, then seeing him up against Cavill and Affleck, that is going to make him a much better actor than he already is now. So I kind of want to see that for him. But my first choice, and there's a big if on this, is there's a new movie coming out about Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer, and Usher is playing him. And I kind of want to see Usher play the character. He's my first choice if you go celebrity, because it's just that who would ever think that Usher would be a good Jon Stewart? That's just not what you think of when you think of, hey, let's cast Jon Stewart. Usher. Oh. Okay. So I think it'd be really good, but there's that big caveat, because if he's not a good actor, because I haven't seen him act at all. I don't even think he has done any acting at all, but if he has, I haven't seen it.
He does. He has a couple of movies to his credit, but not a lot.
Yeah. So, we'll have to see what he does, if he can do that, and especially if he gets buff for that, and he can put on the muscle, then just like with Tyrese, I mean, hey, let's give it a shot. So those are my Green Lantern, choices. So do you have anything else you want to add before we move on, or?
I just hope they do a good job with the Green Lantern movie, and actually give them uniforms, not these motion capture green CGI suits. Come on, give them uniforms. That's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, don't do that. That was bad. All right.
Oh, that was the one thing that grinded my gears about the movie.
Yeah. So the next topic is going to be about Batman v Superman a little bit, but more about the home DVD Blu-ray release of it. We'll probably go into our thoughts on the movie a little bit, because it's just kind of tied into this subject a little bit. But so basically, this is what's going on. For those of you listening that may not know, there is a 3-hour R-rated edition of the movie that they are planning on releasing a couple weeks after the standard version of the movie is released in July. Well, there's a big caveat, though. I looked at the article last night. I don't remember the exact price. But the only way you can get this R-rated movie as of now is if you buy this huge Ultimate Edition version of it. You can get the Batman version or the Superman version. You get a statue of each character depending on what you choose. So you either get a Batman statue or a Superman statue. But it's like $150. And it's like, there's been a lot of controversy over that because it feels like Warner Brothers is just stealing people's money just for no reason. Because they can. And so,
that's why I hate studios.
yeah. So, let me go ahead and talk first on this one, and then I'll let you end this one off. So this is my feeling. Okay, I am one of the people that went and saw Batman v Superman, and I've actually got my review for up on the channel if you want to hear some, more in depth about it. But just my overall feelings of the movie, I was actually one of the people who absolutely came out of it enjoying it. I did not hate the movie in the least. I thought it was a very solid, enjoying thing to experience, and if it's in a theater around you still, I would tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it, because it's really good. But there are some things about it that are not good. One of those things being the editing. And when you hear that they actually had 4 hours of footage and only 2.5 hours made it into the final theatrical cut, that's a big problem. That is a huge problem. And so I am one of those people that says, hey, release the R-rated version in theaters. I'll go see it. I'm really fucking curious. Let's see what you left out. Because the main issue that I had with the movie was not Jesse Eisenberg as Lex. It was not how they used Wonder Woman. It was not the casting of Wonder Woman. It wasn't all these other things you hear about. It was the editing. It was so jumped around and so just thrown together. It was very apparent that there were things missing in it. So as a fan of this movie, and that's what I'm going to call myself, a fan of BVS, I think it's bullshit that they're only releasing this with statues and that you have to spend like $150 to get this version of the movie. Because look, I'm one of those people that if I have the money to, I'm going to rush out and go get BVS when it comes out. But I'm also going to go rush out and get the Ultimate Edition. But I'm not now, because there's no way I'm spending $150 on this movie. It's just not going to happen. And so it sucks.
Alrighty then. First of all, I have to send a public apology to Ben Affleck, because I was one of the most vocal and harshest critics.
Yes, you were.
Of his casting as Batman. Batman is one of my favorite characters of all time. And he actually did the character proud, and I'm looking forward to his future appearances in Suicide Squad, the Justice League franchise, and his solo Batman movie.
Yeah. And
what other appearances he'll ever get, and the fact that he's leading the Justice League is kind of cool. And I'm in love with Gal Gadot, but she's married, so what you gonna do?
Yeah, it's true.
Spending $150. Although I would bet it is a Batman edition because I'm a Batman.
Well, see, I'm one of those people that I have to have the whole thing in a collection. So, I'd probably spend like $300 and get both, you know? It's like, and just give the DVD to somebody else, you know? I mean, it's like, it's not fair. It's just no matter how you look at it, it's not fair.
Yeah, so I'm not spending that much money. I do want to know what they cut out, just out of curiosity, mostly. I mean, I enjoyed the movie as well. I will call myself a fan as well. I'll jump into the pit with you.
Well, thanks, buddy.
I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to probably go see it again in theaters when it goes to the cheap theater that's near me.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go with friends and go see it multiple times because I love the movie.
Yeah.
It felt a little rushed in certain aspects. I don't think it could have. I think it could have come together a lot better. The casting was astounding. Actually, they made some really bold choices with the characters, and I think they did an excellent job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're still making really bold choices with casting for the new franchise, for the future installments, and I'm hoping that they'll continue doing a good job.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm really interested to see what Chris Pine does in the Wonder Woman movie.
The key to that movie is going to be the chemistry between Chris Pine and Gal Gadot, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Chris Pine's a good actor. He can carry a movie by himself. He's already done it.
Yeah.
If you ever see a great Chris Pine movie, actually it's not just a Chris Pine movie, Casey Affleck, my companion who came with me to see this particular film, really liked Casey Affleck's performance, and I have to agree with her. But Chris Pine also carried a majority of the movie by himself. Was actually had an excellent cast, but he carried a lot of parts of the movie by himself. Was Their Finest Hour. Beautiful film. Extremely well shot.
Yeah, I really want to see it, but I haven't gotten to see it yet.
Oh, beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautiful film. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I heard it was a really good one.
But yeah, I think Chris Pine will do just fine in Wonder Woman. He's a great casting choice for Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what he does with that character.
Definitely. So, back to BVS, though, did you have, do you ever, if they don't change it, unless you find like somebody selling it for cheap on like eBay or something, is there any universe where you see yourself like forking out the money for the editions just to be able to say, you know, you've seen the R-rated version of this thing?
I'd wait a long time and I'd eventually get it until it got much, much cheaper in my price range, which may be a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of...
I'm excited about that particular...
Definitely.
I want to see their version, not because it's an R-rated or whatever, just to push the bounds or whatever. I want to know what they cut out, because studios are stupid. They like to interfere and cut things, and sometimes they cut necessary things. They're like, oh, we just want to see all the special effects and all that jazz. And it's like, no, you're cutting character. You're cutting story. Stop it. And Warner Brothers is notorious for this.
Yeah, they're one of the worst. Yeah, and
Paramount's pretty bad too.
Yeah, and
I don't like either of them.
Yeah.
I'll see their movies. I don't like them.
Right.
I don't like the executives.
Well, and here's the frustrating thing about it is because, everyone was so confused once the general public went and saw the movie because, back when all the critic reviews and all the special screenings of the movie, everybody was coming out giving this movie like amazing reviews that this movie is fantastic. And the thing that a lot of people forget is when that was happening, before the movie was released to the general audience, the version of the movie that all those people that reviewed it saw was the 3-hour version. It wasn't the version that we got. And so, that even more goes into the question of, why did you do that? Why at the last minute did you choose, okay, you know what, we're not going to release this 3-hour version. We're going to release, a 2.5-hour film. It's like, did they honestly think that cutting 30 minutes out of the movie would not change it that drastically? Because it did. I promise you, it did.
I read about it, a lot of stuff they cut. They cut the Doomsday fight a lot.
Yeah.
They cut down a lot of Wonder Woman stuff.
Yep.
Which is kind of sad because Gal Gadot didn't get to really flex her acting muscles.
Oh, I agree. And with what?
Which is sad because she's a good actress. From what I saw of her in this film, she was great.
Oh yeah, with what they did have her, and I loved it. You know, I mean, I really did.
She did stuff that was in character.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Wonder Woman right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a Wonder Woman. That's what we've been waiting for 30-something years. Let's get going here, people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, let's move on to the next subject. It seems like we're pretty much on the same page. You guys listening, comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you agree with us or disagree with us. God willing, if I have the money, I might get it, but I'm not going to stretch my pocket to try to get this thing. That's for damn sure. So
you might as well just go to a steakhouse, grab your wallet, throw it on there, and just light it on fire.
Pretty much. So, and that's the big caveat. Before we move on, the last thing I'll say, and that's the big question mark. It's because, look, if I don't know if it makes it all that much better. If the 3-hour version doesn't make it all that much better, and I spend $150 on it, I'm gonna be pissed. So it's like, I feel like for the home-going, movie-going audience, that is way too much money to spend on something that you don't know anything about, And here's another question, is on the Ultimate Edition, the extra hour, because remember, there was 4 hours of footage, so the extra hour that we don't have, are they going to put those deleted scenes on the Blu-ray? Because if they don't, then that's bullshit too. Because I want to see everything that they cut.
Not all of us are not everybody's movie junkies, like, say me, who watches the 2 hours of bonus footage of interviews and all that jazz about how they were able to do these cool things.
Yeah.
I don't know what their problem is, but I'm one of those junkies. I love those things.
Oh, me too.
I'm happy.
Definitely. All right, guys. So the next topic is the Punisher Netflix series. It's been officially announced that it's coming out. Jon Bernthal is coming back to reprise his role as the Punisher. Steven, tell me, what did you think of Mr. Bernthal as the Punisher?
Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm a huge fan of the 2004 film, not the original film. That's
no, that's not.
But I'm a huge Thomas Jane fan.
Oh, me too.
And he actually reprised it for a short film that was shot in California.
Yep.
Years later. But I really enjoyed his take on it. I think he's going to fit in very well in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm excited that they had been teasing about doing a show with his character since he appeared in the Daredevil series, but not that they've officially confirmed it because he's received such critical acclaim for his performance.
Right. Well, they had actually announced it before that, because they actually had announced it before the first season of Daredevil came out. I mean, it's been around for a long time that they were going to do a Punisher Netflix series, because when the Marvel deal,
sure.
yeah,
maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But now it's like, we're doing it. Maybe they were fighting with Jon Bernthal about contracts. I don't know, but I'm excited. I think he'll do a fabulous job. Hopefully, he can carry a show on his own.
Definitely.
I think he can.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the writing will be as good as it was for, say, Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Definitely.
Hopefully, they'll have similar writers on those shows.
I hope so. So
I'm excited for it. I think they'll do a really good job. Hopefully, they will stay true. As long as they stay true to character and story, there are plenty of stuff the Punisher himself has like 3 or 4 comic stories that they could take from.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, see, here's my thing with, because I remember when they announced that Jon Bernthal was going to play the Punisher, but strangely, and I always found this strange, that there were so many people going, Jon Bernthal? Oh, I don't think he could do it. And I'm like, I know he can do it. Like, the minute they announced it, I was like, ooh, yes, give it to me. Because he was one of my favorite things and my least favorite things about The Walking Dead, depending on how you look at it. Because he played such an asshole on the show. But he was so good. And then seeing him in Fury with, Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf and all that, he was so good in that movie. Like, there was no question to me whether or not he would do a good job with the Punisher. For me, it was more of a question of, okay, well, 13 episodes, how much of him are we going to get? And we actually got more of him than I thought we were. I loved the way that they used him in the storyline, not to spoil anything. But I mean, he was great. And so here's my question moving forward with the Punisher series is, I don't know that much about the Punisher, but I know enough to be able to say that he doesn't probably have as many villains as like Spider-Man or even Daredevil or some of these other characters. So who are they?
No, he doesn't really have. I'm trying to think of a word. Fantastical villains. He doesn't have that many.
Right.
I did use one of them in the very not so successful 2008 film Punisher Warzone.
Yeah.
Was it 2008?
Something around there.
That there was only like 2 really good casting choices in that movie that kind of made it watchable.
Well, I thought what's his face?
Not use microchip. I'm hoping that they'll have microchip in the show. And
well,
hopefully they'll do a good job casting him.
Definitely. Well, I want, if they're willing to, because hey, come on, Marvel. I know it's the movie universe and you got different people working over the movie universe and the Netflix universe, but come on, guys. Like, you recasted Chris Evans from the Human Torch to Captain America, and you saw how well that worked out. Come on, get Wayne Knight back to play Microchip, even if it's only in like 2 or 3 episodes. Like, come on, guys. Like, the guy's probably not working that much anymore. He keeps
himself busy, but
yeah.
He'll be fine. I'm sure he would be thrilled. He'd be like, "Oh, I have a recurring role on a television series. That's been a long time since I've had that."
Yeah.
Not since last time I checked. The last time he had a recurring role on a television series was Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
And we all know how long ago that was. For those of you who are actually old enough to know what that show was.
Yeah.
Got that for Christmas. So
yeah, for sure.
I've been going through that much to my glee.
So, something that might be fun, though, is because, for those of you guys out there, you're not going to get this joke, but you will have had to see the Punisher 2004 version to get this, but, we both kind of, in love, we both in love make fun of John Travolta's hair in the movie, and so, I really want to see that character come back.
We know the truth about it, that it's a character all on its own.
It is. It's a character all on its own. You can't have that character without his hair. But that is a character that I would love to see in the series. And what if Nathan Fillion played Castle? Well, not Castle. What's his name? I always forget his name. I forget his name. But whatever. Say what?
Are you trying to remember John Travolta's character?
Yeah.
Howard Saint.
Thank you, Saint. Get Nathan Fillion to play Saint, they already got him being in the movies a little bit, very tiny. So, give him a role that he could actually do something with, I think he'd be fun, a fun TV version of Howard Saint. So that's how I feel about the Punisher.
Well, you know how Punisher started? He was originally just someone hired to kill Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And, that didn't work out. And then he kind of grew from fame from there and then kind of grew into his own thing, which happens a lot. Of course, Kingpin, which is Daredevil's arch nemesis, was originally a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Grew into his own thing.
Which I think it's really cool what Netflix and Marvel is doing with the Defenders and everything, even though these specific Defender people they weren't all necessarily together in the comics. They're kind of doing the same thing as the Avengers. They're kind of picking the best parts of it and kind of just using that. But I'm really interested And it's like they're giving each character their own kind of corner of Hell's Kitchen. And so I'm curious as to see how this all play out because, obviously later this year we're getting Luke Cage, which I loved Luke Cage and the actor playing him in the series. He would actually not be that bad for Jon Stewart now that I think about it. But
he's kind of busy.
Yeah, he's kind of busy with the other people, the other guys. But I'm interested to see how all four corners of we'll say four corners, all the four corners of Hell's Kitchen kind of works out because it's like we have Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and then we're getting Iron Fist. So it's like, how is this all going to play together?
I want to see the dragon that he hugs to get his powers.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that frickin' dragon.
Yeah.
Too bad they can't have Benedict Cumberbatch voice it because, he's kind of got another gig with Marvel right now.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's move on to that. The last subject...
I was hoping that we could do that as a segue.
Yes. The next topic, the last topic for today, will be Doctor Strange finally being made into a movie with the gorgeously handsome Benedict Cumberbatch as the lead role. I am extremely excited for this. Not because I know anything about Doctor Strange. I mean, I kind of do now because I watched the animated movie, but prior to the animated film, I knew zero about this character. And I'm actually really glad I watched the animated movie. Marvel does not have as good as a credit with their animated films like DC does. But it was actually a really enjoyable one. I would highly recommend anyone out there that doesn't know that much about Strange, go watch it, because if you don't, you're probably going to be a little bit lost in the movie when it comes out. But yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, again, Marvel gets a brilliant cast for this. The trailer was so much fun. I'll post it in the description below for those of you that may not have seen it. It's fantastic. What did you think of it?
I'm looking forward to it. Originally, Benedict was not the first choice. He was in that top 5. They were actually looking at Joaquin Phoenix, but he didn't want to be stuck for multiple picture deals.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors that are like that.
So, but they got Benedict, and that's actually exciting for me because I'm a Sherlock Holmes fanboy who is getting casted in the because they had him from because they're having Martin Freeman from
Sherlock
from there in Civil War.
Yeah.
So there's that exciting piece of so there's that, and then I'm excited about that. And now that they're having Benedict, so we're hopefully maybe they'll get to be co-stars. Benedict Martin has a much smaller role in this, so that'll be kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, and I find it kind of interesting because before I got sucked into the BBC Sherlock show with him, I really enjoyed the RDJ Sherlock movies, and Rachel McAdams is what's her face in that? I just forgot her name. I completely blanked. I hate it when that happens.
Adler.
Thank you. She's Adler and that, and she is going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. Her name of her character is not up on IMDb, so I have no idea who she's playing. She might just be a nurse. I don't know. But she's going to be in it, so I find that kind of humorous.
Hello, nurse. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her to be in this. It's fun that we're having 2 Sherlocks and one Watson and Adler.
Yep.
2 Sherlocks, a Watson and an Adler walk into a bar. It's a punchline for a joke. In there somewhere. Set up for a joke, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
what did you think? Because, there's been a lot of controversy over Tilda Swinton being cast as the Ancient One, and especially with this god-awful press trying to Fix-It-All the other day. What do you think of them casting her?
Fortunately, I do not have a huge amount of study with Doctor Strange.
Right.
So
Well,
I don't have as much of a background. The ancient one was originally supposed to be an Asian man. So
well,
I'm not
right.
sure.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not sure what direction they're supposed to be going with this.
Well, I'll tell you this. Well, I'll tell you this.
Just don't suck.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
I'll tell you this, because this is everybody's problem. And remember, this was a long time ago. When Doctor Strange was originally written, the character of the Ancient One was a Tibetan man. But with there being so many disputes between China and Tibet and all this different stuff, one of the things that came out, I forget the guy's name, but one of the guys at Marvel and Disney or whatever tried to cover their butt and basically say, that they didn't want to cast that to cause, like a political dispute between these two places because, that might cause them not to go see the movie, and they don't want that. They don't want to, not only do they not want to cause a political dispute, but they don't want, obviously, to turn people away from seeing the movie. Well, then, so not that long after, somebody basically came out and was like, hey, this guy not supposed to say that. Marvel has done a really good job of, being a company that hires diverse people, and we want to keep diversity in the thing. And basically, we're casting people that we feel fit the role, and Tilda Swinton is just another part of that process, it's not meant this way or that way. It's just, basically they just felt, that she was the best for the role. Here's my personal opinion on that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a smidge of bullshit sprinkled in that statement, because they were just probably trying to save their ass and protect the decision they made. Because here's the thing. I understand what they're saying. They don't want to cause a dispute between China and Tibet and all this, but hear me out on this. Like, why couldn't you have chosen like an Asian man or something like that to fit the role? It's like, it doesn't even have to be someone that we know. I mean, yeah,
sure,
exactly.
all the problems are solved.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be, this whole big thing. And so, but with all that said, I'm a big Tilda Swinton fan. She's a fantastic actress. I don't think she's looks as bad as a lot of people are making out to be. Yeah, it's a little strange to see her bald. I'll give you that. But she's a fantastic actress. And you know what? I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt for now. Now, if I go see the movie and she's the worst thing about it, then that'll be a different story. But for now, since I don't know the whole movie, I haven't seen it, it hasn't come out yet, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, because I really like her.
Also, we had weird feelings about Natalie Portman being bald in V for Vendetta, and that was an enjoyable film, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping into DC for a moment, but...
No, but,
yeah.
it makes sense, Yeah, well, and this
be like, whatever,
well,
just watch the movie.
And a lot of people feel like this is tying into this whole like Hollywood whitewashing thing, because it's like, there's already not enough roles for people of we won't go into this a whole lot, but that's the big issue that a lot of people are having with this is, and they don't realize that this was happening long before this whole whitewashing thing was going on. They probably had Tilda Swinton already filming and doing shit before everybody was making such a big deal about this. It's like, this has nothing to do. It's like, while I do agree that there are not nearly enough roles for minorities to play, this is not one of those things where it's like that. This is not an example of that in film at all, Again, I don't want to go into this for now. We'll save this for another podcast. But, the whole Ghost in the Shell conversation, that is a good example of where Hollywood is whitewashing. And I 100% agree with that. But this thing whole with Doctor Strange, no. Like, come on, guys. Like, be a little bit more smart than that. This is not one of those things.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but I actually don't have an opinion on this one. Scary thought.
That is a scary thought.
I'm just going to sit down and watch the movie and do my best to enjoy it. If it sucks,
exactly,
then I will send a letter to Benedict and yell at him.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
What the hell is your problem, man?
Yeah, right.
But if Marvel has a pretty good batting average as far as movies go.
I was just about to say, yeah, they haven't really let me down that much so far, so,
So I'll just bite my lip and get through it. If they do suck, then I'll just bite my lip and get through it.
Now, there's the very big...
I've only fallen asleep during one movie in the theater, and I've only walked out of one movie. So, it has to do a lot to irk me.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, that is our...
Movie tickets are too damn expensive.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Well, that is our podcast for today, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a lot of fun talking about these subjects. You'll have to come back next week to see what we talk about then, or I talk about if I don't have a guest with me. But this has been a lot of fun. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you're not subscribed, please show some love and subscribe. Got a lot of fun things to come on this channel. And, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Is there any place that you want people to follow you at or anything like that?
Just keep loving on the production pages on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'm actually going to be starting filming of my next film.
Very cool. Very cool.
A week. Well, actually, when you premiere this, that's where I'll be, probably.
Yeah.
I will be on set. We're preparing to go on set and shoot.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited about. We're going to be filming at least a couple of scenes.
Definitely.
So I'll be on set. We'll
Definitely.
when this is up.
Yeah.
So show some love, and if you feel like you want to message me on Facebook, you can find me there, or message my pages. I check them regularly. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all for me.
All right, guys. Well, again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good. All right.